talk about the rise and spectacular fall of the trans movement. I have a lot to say about this, and I have not spoken about it for years, up until recently when I wrote an article about it on my Substack. And on my Substack article, it was titled, Why I Will Never Use Pronouns and Three Requests of Trans People. So let's get into it. First of all, before we begin, I just want to say this. I love everybody. Everybody. Tall, short, straight, gay, tall, from India, Iceland, China, Bahamas. I don't care where you are, atheist, agnostic, spiritual, religious, not religious, old, young. I don't care who you're, Republican, Democrat. I don't care about any of that because I love everyone. And the reason I love everyone, when I say everyone, I mean everyone. The reason I love everyone is because I love myself. And when I say I love myself, I don't mean the little human, Valerie love. I'm talking about I love my capital S self, the infinite source. Expressing as me, expressing as you, expressing as all. That's what I love. I love the infinite source that is my very self. And because I know that source is all, it's everyone. It's the rock, it's the mountain, it's the puppy, it's the whale, it's you, it's me. I love everyone. So please don't construe anything in this conversation, or please don't take anything in this conversation to be hate. We're only going to talk love and truth. That's what I can promise you in this conversation. I can promise you love and truth. How you loving, how you loving, how you loving. Happy Sunday. Come on in. Mwah. Come on in, come on in, come on in. So the first thing I want to say is that I'm going to put it in a nutshell where I'm coming from. So I wrote in my Substack article, and I'll link it for you in the comments. I wrote in my, and you'll please feel free to converse about this in the comments because this is a conversation that we're having. So I wrote on my Substack article why I will never use pronouns, which I'm going to tell you why. You never saw pronouns on any of my things. That's my personal choice, not anyone else's. And I'm not saying someone else shouldn't use pronouns. Use all the pronouns you want. I'm telling you why I do not use pronouns and never will. And then I put three requests of trans people. So let's start with why I will never use pronouns. I will never use pronouns because it's a very simple answer. Because I never had the problem. No one ever asked me, are you a lady or a man? Like, it just never came up in my life. Now, I do want to tell you that if you're brand new to me, I'm kind of jokey and I don't take anything seriously, including myself. So I know things are important. I'm not an overly serious person. So I am somewhat jokey. I just want to give you that disclaimer up top, just in case you come to this place expecting me to be so serious. I don't take myself seriously. I know I'm important. I don't take myself seriously. So I never had the issue. I have never had the issue that I walked in and someone was looking, filling out their little forms and said, man or woman. It just never happened. And I'm 60 something years old, so I doubt if it will ever happen. I'm already a crone. Well, let me say that I'm about to be a crone maybe on my next birthday when I turn 65. I just turned 64. So I never had the problem. I've been on the planet since 1961. It's never happened. So that's the first one. I don't feel compelled. It is not like I have a super strong argument for that. It's just totally pointless because I don't mean to laugh because no one has ever not known that I was a woman when I walked in the door. No one. I have been to multiple countries, Egypt, Middle East, Africa, the motherland, Egypt, Kenya, all these places. I've been in the Middle East. I've been across Europe. I've been to Southeast Asia. I haven't been to Australia yet, so I haven't been to all 7 continents. I've been all throughout the United States, all throughout the Caribbean. And I don't care what country I am, people always know I'm a woman. So I never had a need to use pronouns. So that is just my life experience, okay? Now, I understand that if you want to use pronouns, great. No, I don't have any problem with it. And if you tell me, call you he, I'll call you he. No problem. If you say to me, call me she, I'll call you she. No problem. If you say to me, my name is Sue, I will call you Sue. No problem. If you say to me, my name is John, I will call you John. It's not a problem. Just because I don't use pronouns doesn't mean I think people should use pronouns. Use pronouns if you want to use pronouns. It's a free world. Do it or don't do it. It's just as simple as that. To me, it's very simple. Next, my 3 requests of trans people, and then I'm going to tell you how this all works. So here are my 3 requests of trans people. Number 1, don't call me cis. SCIS. I don't know who made that up. I don't know what cis is. I don't know what it means. No one ever knocked on my door and said, can we now call all the women cisgendered? What? I don't think so. I'm a woman. That's been good enough up until now. Woman is good enough. Woman, lady, miss. That's been good enough up until now. So don't call me cis. We're not going to change all the people on the planet because 1 to 2% of people have a very real experience that maybe they are in an adjacent body to what they feel. But because we don't say, all right, 2% of the people on the planet are albino, so we're going to call the other 98% of people on the planet non-albinos. It's not a thing. It's just not. So don't call me cis. Now, you would think this would be an easy one for trans people because trans people say, call me this, call me they. Okay, they, there. Call me he. Okay, he. Call me she. Okay, she. And then when people like myself say, don't call me cis. Cis, whoa, what's happening right now? What is happening right now? So one of the things that I found very strange about this whole movement, there are many very strange things I found about this trans movement. I've been watching it for many years, and I reserved my conversation because I wanted to watch and I wanted to see results. I wanted to speak from a place of wisdom and intelligence. I wanted to speak from a place of observation and from a place of love and power and truth, most of all, truth. So when trans people call women cis, I don't think women signed up and said, can you all call us cis? I don't know what cis is. So I find it disrespectful to just call a whole bunch of people, oh, you're cisgendered. Maybe that means something in your little club. It doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know what that is. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. So that was the first thing I was like, stop calling me cis. I'm not cisgendered. Okay. The next thing is don't bother the children. People who cannot give informed consent. This was one of the strangest, most horrific. There were some very horrific aspects of the trans movement. Of the trans movement as it existed. I'm so glad it spectacularly failed because it went after some of the most vulnerable people on the planet. And this is what I mean by it. I don't blame young children who say, I feel strange, I feel different, I feel like I'm not in the right body. No problem. We can work through that. And I don't blame people, even people that are grown, who say, I've always just felt, out of sorts. No problem. We've always had people with us like this. I have an issue with doctors, so-called doctors, butchers, who are chopping off people's private parts and chopping off perfectly good breasts from otherwise healthy young girls. That was my problem. No problem if you say, I don't feel like I'm in the right body. Got it. Give people lots of support. No problem if you say, I feel like I'm a woman. Go right ahead. Great. No problem. No problem with any of that. We've always had people like that. We have always had people who felt like they might be in the wrong body, who felt like they might be something else. No problem. What is a problem is this movement crossed over lines that should never have been crossed. I'll give you an example. A child, 6, 7, 8, 10, talk about, oh, I'm a boy, I want to be a girl, I want to be a boy, whatever, either one, it doesn't matter. And immediately they're rushed through gender affirming care past the parents, sometimes irregardless of the parents. That's how you knew the thing was evil. Irregardless of the parents, if one of my 3 children, as they were growing up, had said to me, if my son had said to me, I think I'm a girl, or one of my 2 daughters said to me, I think I'm a boy, that would have been a conversation. And then we would have worked through that. It wouldn't have been, I think I'm a girl. Okay, you're a girl, for my son. And for my daughters, I think I'm a boy. Okay, you're a boy. That's nonsensical. If your child comes home and tells you, all parents know this, especially if you've been a parent for many years, children change all the time. That's the nature of being a child. They change, they change, they change. If my child came home and told me, yeah, Mom, when I grow up, I want to be a mortician. Okay. That's going to be a conversation. Okay, so what do you want to, why does that appeal to you? What's happening with you? Tell me more about that. If my child tells me, I'm not going to college, okay, tell me more about that. So let's have a conversation. This thing didn't want you to have any conversation. That was super suspicious. No conversation. You just have to agree with everything the child said. Like, hell, I'm going to agree with everything my children say. My children ain't grown. And I'm just going to agree with whatever they say? I don't think so. So one day my granddaughter comes home from school. This was a school in Miami before they moved out of the state. They're in Texas now. This would never happen in Texas. But at this particular school, it was very woke. It had gone very woke. They were almost asking the kids every day, what are you, a boy or a girl? Almost every day. Kindergarten, my granddaughter was 5 when they asked her this question. She was around 5 or 6. She's just turned 9. She just had a birthday. My granddaughter came home and told my daughter, Mom, now my granddaughter, Miss Empress, she is so sparkly and she is pink and she got fairy wings. She has the whole 9 yards. Okay, she was born a diva. She's like Cher. Cher said I was in my crib wearing sequins. Okay, that's how Miss Empress is. And she came home one day and said, Mom, guess what? What? The teacher asked me if I'm a boy or a girl. She was highly insulted. The teacher asked me, was I a boy or a girl? And my daughter was cracking up because she knew what it meant. And she said, and what did you tell her? She said, I'm a girl. Like, what? Okay. So this is what the trans people tried to convince us of. Not even the trans people, because I find that a lot of trans people, they have been a victim of the people who want to push this agenda just as well as other people have been. I find many trans people to be caught in a web a web. Okay, so here, not the perpetrators of the web, caught in a web. Many trans people are caught in a web. So the second request that I made of trans people is don't come for children. And there were many parents that said this: you're not chopping off my children's perfectly good breast. You're not chopping off my child's penis. And you're not going to give the children hormones that are irreversible. They start taking these hormones. And when they take the hormones, it halts puberty. So that even later, if they didn't want to transition, they couldn't. I mean, the horror stories that we are now hearing from detransitioners, the horror stories. Why? Because we perpetrated crimes against humanity on young people who could not give informed consent. Third request of trans people. So first request, don't call me sis. I'm not a cis anything. I'm a woman, and I will respect you and call you whatever you want to be called. That's all good. I'm a compassionate person. My mother did not raise a hellion. I am a respectful person because I respect myself. So therefore I respect others, unless they do something that's disrespectful. So if I am willing to say, yes, I honor you by calling you Joe or Susie or him or her or they, I expect to be honored by not being called slurs. I call cis a slur. Don't call me sis. I'm a woman. Just call me a woman. That's good enough. Valerie, Miss, that's good enough. Second, don't come for the children. Off limits. And once it started to be revealed how horrifically these children were being maimed from some whims that they had, most of them weren't even trans. Whims. Because their friends had them. It was in style to be trans. Once it came to the light of the butchering and the drug and chemicalizing of young people in an irreversible fashion, it was so horrific that even the UK shut down the clinics. They're shutting it down. These are crimes against humanity. Here's my third request of trans people. Don't invade women's spaces. Now, here's where I'm going to say something that is super, super controversial. It was not controversial even 10 or 20 years ago. It is extremely controversial now. Women don't have penises. That is a controversial statement. I don't know how we got here, but here we are. Women don't have penises. We don't. We have wombs. We have ovaries. We have fallopian tubes. We have eggs. We have vaginas. We have vulvas. We have clitorises. We don't have penises. Now, I don't mean to laugh at this because this is a very serious issue, and I understand that this is a very serious global issue right now. I do understand that, and I understand that it is a shocker, right? And I understand that many people are caught up in this, and this is very emotional for some people. It's just a lot. The human race has been through a lot with this. Women don't have penises, and men don't have vaginas. Now, here's the next controversial thing I'm going to say. If you were born with a penis, testicles, and all the machinery that makes a baby, you cannot go from that to a woman. That just, hey, Calvin, I love it. Calvin said, I think there is an occult aspect because we are in the age of Aquarius, and didn't Uranus get castrated? Oh, wow. I may be having real Calvin, you are hilarious. I love it. Thank you for the super chat. Money in the vortex, money in the vortex, money in the vortex. Love that. You know, that's a very fascinating question because guess what, Calvin, and everyone else watching? Part of being in some of the mystery cults during early Christianity, during Jesus' time, was that you had to castrate yourself. That was in some of the cults, that you had to actually hatchet and take off your balls. And yet, it was voluntary. And yet, these were grown people that wanted to be part of the cult. And yet, this was a religious observance. And yet, this was also, they would be caught up in ecstasy and they would cut off their balls. So this is definitely has been part of human history forever, that we have maimed genital organs, for sure. Even throughout Africa, I won't say throughout Africa, I would say in some countries in Africa, the female genital mutilation is real. They take a blunt object and cut out your clitoris. I'm not for that either. I'm not for that either. Not my thing, not my thing. I don't think it's a great idea, but people do it, okay? And they did this to girls for many, many years. There are many movements in Africa to stop. That happens in Sudan, still happens in Sudan, absolutely. That there are many movements to stop female genital mutilation, especially of young girls. And where did the idea come from? The idea came from that sexual pleasure is not to be enjoyed by women, because that clit, baby, sexual pleasure is not to be enjoyed by women, but you're there to service your husband sexually. So it's based on a faulty premise that wants to hold women as these objects of pleasure for the man, yet not pleasure for self. We don't want you to pleasure yourself, but we want you to pleasure your husband. Baby, right? God gave us that. God gave us the G-spot on the inside and the clit on the outside, and the ring of fire, which goes all around the vulva and the vagina. Ring of fire, baby. Well, anyway, so you're right, Calvin. There are many instances in humanity's history where we had these castrations, where we had mutilations, and it was holy. It was considered sacred. Absolutely. And if that's what you want to do with your body, baby, go for it. And get whipped up in all the ecstasy that you want and go for it. I'm talking about children. I'm talking about, we're not going to grab children and mutilate children. We're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. These horror stories from these young people, these detransitioners, these horror stories are just, I didn't even know that they were trying to make vaginas. When I heard that they were trying to make vaginas, I almost fell out, because I didn't really know what the operation was like. I didn't know that they're trying to make penises and vaginas. I didn't know that they were Frankenstein people. I don't know what I thought. I guess I thought, well, if you want to transition, okay, you start wearing women's clothes, you start, shaving. Yeah, you can take some hormones and maybe soften up yourself and things like that. I didn't know that they were chopping off penises and testicles and trying to form a vagina. So let me tell you about that part. You can't make a vagina. Here's the next controversial thing I'm about to say. You cannot make a vagina. Do you know what a vagina does? Do you understand what a yoni is? Sacred portal of creation. Do you understand what this is? Sacred portal of creation. An instrument that can accommodate any man's size. An instrument that can suck the masculine in and draw from it vital fluids to create a baby. Something that can expand to let an entire human being come out and then contract back again. Something that has, let me tell you something about a yoni. Do you know that inside the vaginal walls are reflexology points that connect to all the organs in the body, just like the bottom of your feet? Oh, a doctor is going to make that. Show me how a doctor is going to make a yoni. Please, somebody, anybody. Tell me how a doctor is going to make a yoni. But there's more. There's more. Any woman who has lived in a house with more than one woman knows if you have 2 or 3 women, our cycles begin to come at the same time, which would convey, which would insinuate that somehow our wombs are connecting energetically and communicating with other nearby wombs. That's what that would mean. And so let's go back to the red tent where the women in the Bible would come together 1 week out of the month and celebrate and go into their womanly arts in the red tent while they all were menstruating at the same time. Oh, and a doctor is going to give you that. These doctors were straight up lying to vulnerable people by telling them, oh, we can give you a vagina. No, you cannot. You are playing God. You can't create a vagina. Okay, let's go further. Not to mention that I think it's a conspiracy to collapse the population. I was about to say that, Calvin. I was about to say, not to mention, if you don't have vaginas and yonis, you don't have human beings. Because currently, the only way that you can have a human being is by getting a man and a woman together. Now, the man and the woman doesn't have to come together, but we still have to have a sperm and an egg. So maybe if we put it in a petri dish in a laboratory, that'll work too. You still have to put it into a woman to bring it to gestation. We still haven't figured out a way to be able to have a child without a man and a woman. Do we want to erase that? We want to erase man and woman because, well, then we're erasing the human race. Okay, let's go further. There's more. You want to create a vagina, and this is what they use to create a vagina. I'm watching these videos, and my mouth is hanging open. Did y'all know that they were taking a part of an intestine to make a vagina? Did y'all know that? You can go to Thailand and have this surgery. If you are a man, you get your thing cut off. Just that thought alone of having all your junk cut off. Let me say this. I have many gay friends. Many gay friends. I hang out with them. Not once, not one time has any of my gay friends said to me, you know, I'm thinking about having all my junk cut off. No man that I know has ever said to me, yeah, I think I'm getting all my junk cut off. And if a man that I loved ever said that to me, yeah, I'm considering getting all my junk cut off. I would be like, whoa, let's talk about that. What's going on? Have you seen a professional so you could talk through this? You want to get your junk cut off. Like, it ain't like we can just sew it back on, Lorena Bobbitt. Do y'all remember Lorena Bobbitt? Do y'all remember Lorena Bobbitt, who cut her husband's junk off? And that man was so humiliated publicly, and the police picked up his penis off the ground and saved it because all the men were like, oh, damn. And so they found his penis, they picked it up, and they saved it and put it on ice, like a finger severed or something, to try to put it back on. But this man, he had some kind of surgery to be able to somehow get this back on. He had to go ahead and become a porn star because he was so publicly humiliated and emasculated for his woman chopping off his penis because he was cheating or something like that. But ooh, like, even when you think about Lorena Bobbitt, you're like, ooh, all the men grabbed their stuff. What? Do you want to tell me that you want to cut off all your stuff? Now, okay, if you do, like I said, we had the Mithraean cults. We had all the cults where the men would voluntarily, cut their stuff off, cut their balls off. All good. Some probably bled out and died from it. All good. We're not doing that to children. So you go to Thailand and you have the surgery. And when you have the surgery, it is somehow they take a section of your intestines and configure it to be like a vagina, but they say you have to try to keep dilating it. I don't even want to describe what I find out about this surgery because it is so absolutely monstrous and horrific that anyone who would perpetrate that on a human being needs to be immediately jailed and lose all their licenses. The nurses need to lose all their licenses for helping the people do it. The doctors need to lose all their licenses for telling people that they can manufacture a yoni out of some intestinal material. The anesthesiologist needs to be brought up on charges for being there and watching and putting a person to sleep so you can chop off their stuff. Everybody in the room needs to be pulled up on charges. Taking advantage of vulnerable people and vulnerable people having a horrible experience, and then later on you see these people and they can't do anything. They can't have sex, they can't have children, they can't do anything. You robbed these people, these horrific criminals, robbed so many people of their opportunity to even have children or even have a normal sex life for the rest of their life. It is horrible. It's horrible. So for many of these reasons, and I'm going to go to another reason next. For many of these reasons, there was a spectacular fail of the transgender movement. Spectacular fail. Do people think that people were going to sit by and let you do that to their children? Do people think that all the Christians in the country were going to just sit by and let you to ask their children if they were a boy or girl today? Did you think that people were just going to sit by and be A-okay with the craziness? Okay, let's go further. Let's go to the sports. Men in women's sports. Men in women's prisons. Men in women's bathrooms. How did they get there? Because they said they're a woman. I'm a woman now because I just feel so much like a woman. I'm a woman now. Okay, write it on a piece of paper. Go do your forms. Now you're a woman with intact genitalia, with a penis and everything. Women don't have penises, but with a full penis. And now in some states, you go right into women's prison. You could see why a man would want to be in a woman's prison. We can't figure that part out. That looks very straightforward. I'm a woman now. You got a beard, and you got you hung, and you have a beard, but you're a woman. Yeah, now I need to go into women's prison. Okay, who's making these laws? And then how are the women in the prison coming up pregnant? Oh, no, we never saw that one coming. We never saw it coming that some of these people, not all of them, some of these people are sex offenders. We didn't put two and two together, that if you put a sex offender with still intact genitalia into a woman's prison because he says he's a woman now, we didn't think that that was a problem. I was watching this thing like, how crazy is this thing gonna get? How crazy is this thing gonna get? Okay. Calvin, you said it right there. When society becomes a circus, you get clowns. That's exactly it. What? I am not saying that trans men who are transitioning, who want to transition from being a man to a woman, I'm not saying that they're sex offenders. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that they want to, do anything to women. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this movement allowed for the craziness that we're seeing, where a man in a woman's prison who was probably somebody's boyfriend, who was probably getting taken advantage of in many ways. Because when you go to, that's why I pray for Puffy, because I'd be like, oh, I don't know what they're going to do with Puffy in that 4 years. I don't know what's going to happen to Puffy in there. But anyway, that when people go to prison, different experiences could happen. And you're talking about, in prison, there is a retribution, especially for child molesters. They say when you are a child molester and you go to prison, there's no mercy for you. There's going to be a retribution for you. Karma. So you're talking about a man who could have been a sex offender, who is now in prison, maybe experiencing retribution of being a sex offender on the outside by other inmates. And now they say that they want to go to the women's prison because I feel like a woman now. I'm a woman, and they fill out paperwork and they actually let a person with a penis into the women's prison. How did we get here? How do, why do we call it a women's prison? Because we already know that this is a safe space for women. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a safe space for women to be rehabilitated. Puffy is gonna like it because Puffy is a little, he's spicy sexually. We've all seen that. So he might like it. Absolutely. Okay, here's the next thing about men in women's spaces. Sports. So we had this swimmer, Leah Thomas, who was transitioning from man, seeking to transition from male to female. You cannot transition from male to female. You cannot change from a man to a woman. And you can't change from a woman to a man. You can't do it. It's not humanly possible. Yet people told them they could do it. It's not humanly possible. And Leah Thomas was wanting to change from being a man to being a woman. Now, here's something very suspicious about Leah Thomas. And even Caitlyn Jenner, a transitioned person, said Leah Thomas is a coward. Now, here's why. Leah Thomas, entered women's sports, swimming. As a man, Leah Thomas was number 400, ranked 400 in the whole country of swimmers, a mediocre swimmer, mediocre to poor swimmer when swimming in their own class with men. Leah Thomas was still a man. Leah Thomas still had intact genitalia. Leah Thomas still taller than all the women on the team. Leah Thomas with the musculature of a man. Leah Thomas with the lungs of a man, all of which they scientifically stacked out in a court of law that if a person transitions too late, they already benefited from puberty. Leah Thomas already benefited from puberty with an increased lung capacity, larger musculature, taller, and all of those things with regard to women. I'm not saying all men are stronger than women. I'm not saying that all men have more muscles than women. I'm not saying that all men are taller than women. I'm saying that this particular person, as an example of what we're talking about, went through the entire puberty and already got the benefit of going through puberty and was 400 when swimming with their own class. Yet when he wanted to transition and become a woman and started swimming against the women, he tied for number 1. Do we think that's fair? Now, this is what happened. He tied for number 1 with a woman, because he's now on the women's team. Tied for number 1 with a woman. And guess what they said? Guess what they told the woman? We have to give this trophy to Leah Thomas. Now, they tied. Doesn't that mean both of them get a trophy or whatever? They tied. We have to give the trophy to the man masquerading as a woman because of optics, how it looks. And the punk ass people that were running the whole swimming for across the country capitulated to the insanity of the trans movement. Well, that's okay because they got sued later. We knew that was going to happen. We knew it was going to get fought out in the courts. Of course they got sued. And of course they lost. And let me tell you something about this whole Leah Thomas debacle. If my daughter, when she was in track, my daughter was in track when she was in high school, you know, my kids, if they were in sports and whatnot, if my daughter was in track or in swimming, because my daughter was also in swimming, and she was on the swim team, and they're in college, this is collegiate level swimming, and a man came on the swim team saying, I'm a woman now. Call me Leah. Okay, I'll call you Leah, no problem. I don't have a problem with that. You feel like a woman, no problem. You want to come into the locker room with my daughter and her friends where they undress and you undress and we all are supposed to be saying, yay, hi Leah, you're so brave. We're so happy that you're here with your penis. I would have lit that school on fire. The school would still be burning. I would have these schools, they could not do anything under my watch when my 3 children were in school. I used to go down to their school on the regular. And if something wasn't right, you were going to hear from the parents of Corey, Sarai, or Veronica, because you ain't doing whatever you want to do with my children up in here. I'm letting them come here for a few hours a day, and then they're going to come back home. If you had told me that a full-blown male with genitalia intact, had not had an operation, full genitalia intact, and was now going to be in a changing room, in the locker room, the intimate space of girls only with my daughter, oh, hell no. I would have blown that shit up. Hell no. Call me hateful. I would have just had to been hateful that day. Call me unkind. I would have just had to been unkind. Call me a person who is not open-minded to people. All of that. Here's what I'm saying. And I'm going to be very clear in this because I'm going to share with y'all a little bit of an email that I got after I wrote my Substack article. Nelson Mandela said, we ought to be free. All people deserve to be free. All people deserve to be loved. All people deserve to be understood. And he said, you ought to be free in a way that does not infringe upon the freedoms of others. If you think people are going to be okay with their 10-year-old daughters, their 12-year-old daughters in girls' bathrooms, and then boys coming in with their wee-wees, and probably, you know, boys like to show things, right? Because that's just how boys are. Showing their hair, what's up? And if you think people are going to be okay with that, because the boy said that day, I feel like a girl, so you could use the girl's bathroom. If you thought parents were going to take that sitting down, absolutely they were not. That spectacular downfall of the trans movement, spectacular downfall of a crazy movement. Now, here's what I want to say. The trans movement would have gone farther and gotten more acceptance and would have been more embraced if it had not made enemies of women. If it had not made enemies of women. If it had not acted like, I'm she, so I'm going into the ladies' bathroom, you know, TikTokers. I'm she, excuse me, calling me she. Okay, she, we're at a restaurant, what do you want to order? That's what they're telling the waiters and waitresses. When they say, okay, what would you like? Miss, I'm a miss. Okay, miss, what do you want to eat? Like, nobody fucking cares what you want to call yourself. Call yourself miss, mister, they, them. We don't care. Nobody cares about that. I don't care about that. Call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. But don't bring a penis into my daughter's locker room. No, that's when I have to step in. That's when her daddy gonna step in and be like, excuse me. And did they think that people weren't going to do that? Did they think we were just going to be like, oh yeah, just let all the boys go into the girls' locker room? Oh yeah, just let all the boys go into the ladies' bathroom. Oh yeah, just let all the... See, it made a mockery of women. Now I want to go further with a personal anecdote. Here's a story. You know how KAISI is. I got a million stories. The other day, because you see trans people all the time. Fine. Fine. It's not a problem. Trans people are not a problem. Trans people have never been a problem. I'm talking about the whole craziness of the movement that they tried to put over on human beings. And this was only in the Western world, because if you go to Africa, if you go to Middle East, if you go to other places like that, no one's confused about what a man and a woman is. No one. Okay. This is the story. I wanted to buy some underwear because there's this particular underwear that I like from Victoria's Secret. So I go to Victoria's Secret not too long ago in Miami. I was at the one in Brickell. So I go to this Victoria's Secret in Brickell, and here comes this trans person, rushes over to me. Hi, can I help you? And this is what I want to say, trans people. I'm going to give you a helpful hint here. Here's from the Womanhood University, because I'm a woman. And you want to be a woman. So let me help you. Women don't do that. You're being manly in trying to be a woman. You're being yang in your yin energy. Like, what are we doing here? So, rushes over to me. And all I did was walk in, Victoria's Secret. That's all I did. So I walk into Victoria's Secret, and this trans person rushes over. How may I help you? Like, super loud. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Because why do some trans people, not all, why do some trans people have to make a point that you are going to see me and I'm going to make you do something? Like, why did they have to make us want to do something? Now, what you want to do, completely up to you. Why are you concerned with what I think of you? Why are you concerned with trying to convince me that you're a woman? You can never convince me that you're a woman, because I know you're not a woman. You cannot go from man to woman and from woman to man. You cannot do it. You either have X or you have Y. Now, what you do with X and what you do with Y is completely up to you, beloved. I'm just telling you the truth. And anyone who tells you that you can change from X to Y and we'll make a yoni for you and you'll be a woman, you'll be a real woman, and we'll pump you full of these drugs for the rest of your life, they are lying to you. They are lying. And they're taking advantage of vulnerable people. That's what they're doing. And why? For the same reason that they take advantage, that the pharmaceutical industry takes advantage of all of us, because they're going to have a lifelong customer. You have to be on drugs for the rest of your life. So let me tell you what happens in Victoria's Secret. So I'm walking in Victoria's Secret, and, oh, yes, may I help you? I was like, oh. And then I was like, okay, we want to play the game that you're a woman. Okay, I'll play. I'm not going to say, sir. I'm not rude. And we all also know this is not a woman. You got a strong jawline. You got an overhanging, brow. You got hands the size of, way bigger than mine, and you got an Adam's apple. Yes, you have long hair. Yes, you have lipstick. Yes, you have on ladies' clothes. Yes, your nails are done. Their nails look beautiful. Are you a woman? No, and everyone knows it. Do these people think that we think they're women? Because a woman can tell a man and a woman like this. I wonder, put it in the chat. Or is it just that you want to feel good being like a woman? I can get that. Just help me understand, because no one, hilarious, Calvin. One day, me and you gonna sit down and do some shrooms. Calvin said Victoria couldn't keep the secret. Like, it was very clear that this was a man talking to me. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna play along. But don't think that people playing along means that we're convinced that you're a woman. Because it doesn't mean that. It means that we're being kind and societally polite, and we're going along with the delusion that you're holding in your mind that you really think you're a woman. We all know that you're a man. Everyone knows you're a man, except maybe some dudes, because I have heard dudes get super mad when, when they got this woman home, this quote unquote woman home, and found out it wasn't a woman at all. Be careful, trans people, because you don't want to do that, because some of these men are not kind, right? And so she says, so I said, oh yeah, I'm looking for undergarments. Obviously, I'm in Victoria's Secret, the undergarment part. Oh, look at some, oh, well, we have these panties right here, and rubbing the big hands across the panties. We have these panties right here, and they're on sale, and I was thinking to myself, I don't talk like that. I don't know any women that talk like that. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not rude. I'm not. And I smiled politely. Thank you. And I picked through a couple of the underwear, and then I left. I did. I left. It wasn't my jam. And when I left, I kind of chuckled to myself, and I wondered, does this person really believe that all of society has joined in their delusion that they are indeed a woman? Now, I'm going to bring this plane to a landing. I'll give you a link to the Substack article I wrote. Feel free to comment on the Substack article. Oh, they really do. They think that all of us think that they're women. Is that what they think? Very strange. Very strange. The next thing I want to say is this. How is it not disrespect of women to think that you can be one of us, that you could jump the fence at will and be one of us? How is that not disrespectful? You don't even know what you're becoming. Yet, you don't have to have a period. We'll never use a tampon. Never need to. Never have to buy the feminine products. You would never push a baby out your cooch like millions of women, billions of women have. I push 3 out. You'll never have a contraction ever. You'll never have a change of life. You'll never have a hot flash. You'll never have none of that. But you want to jump the fence and say, I'm one of y'all. You are not one of us. Now, you can get a different name. You can call it something else. I don't know what you would call it. Maybe trans feminine, something like that. You are not a woman. Because I will tell you what is a woman. And I will tell you that that word woman, just like man, are not to be taken lightly. They're not decisions that you make one day when you wake up in the morning. And even if you make the decision over time, like, I really feel like a woman, I really feel like a woman. You can say that, but how do you know that when you don't know what a woman is? I could say, I feel like a giraffe. I would be lying because I don't know how a giraffe feels because I've never been a giraffe. So the best that they can do is dress up like women, is mockery and imitation. And for some of them, the mockery and the imitation is insulting. Can I just be a woman and say, some of y'all, you need to stop it. With your 13 size shoe and your 5 o'clock shadow and your Adam's apple and your voice, call me Monica, and you're 6 feet tall and you walk into the boardroom and then you get mad if people kind of look around. Why are you mad? Why are you mad if people kind of look around like, but we don't want to be rude, so we're not going to say, excuse me, sir. Nobody's going to say that. And besides, you probably get fired nowadays if you said something like that. If misgendering, you misgendered me. That's my dead name. I was Sam, now I'm Monica. Okay, Monica. Like I said, Monica, no problem. Hi, Monica. How you doing? We're sitting in the boardroom. You look straight up like a man with women's stuff on. Okay, Monica. But if you come into my daughter's space, now that's going to be a boundary violation right there, Monica. With full genitalia. And everybody's getting undressed in my daughter's locker room. That's going to be a no from me. That's going to be a no. That's going to be a no. That's going to be a no. Okay? Now, I want to say this too. I love all my gay family. I love all my lesbian family. Love all y'all. Y'all know it. I hang with y'all. Love all my straight family. Love all my, poly family. Poly friends and all that. You got 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Y'all are all considered adults. Baby, do what you do. Sleep with whoever you want to sleep with. Make it great. Fine. None of my gay friends are walking around impinging upon the rights and privacy and sacred spaces of other people with no regard. None of my lesbian friends are walking up into men's spaces saying, I'm going to go into the men's bathroom. They're not doing any of that craziness, which caused me to question LGBTQIA. It caused me to question that because I was thinking to myself, well, my lesbian and my gay friends don't act like this. My lesbian friends and my gay friends don't act like some of these crazy trans people. But they got them all grouped together. LGBTQIA. They have it all grouped together as if this is one harmonious voice. These are different people. Gay people are not even the same as lesbian people. Lesbian people are not the same as asexual people. Asexual people are not the same as intersexual people. Intersexual people are not the same as trans people. They're all different. I thought the club should just be named Not Straight because we just keep getting more letters. Even my lesbian friends joke that it's alphabet soup. Yeah, I'm in the alphabet soup community. Like, even I've heard some of my lesbian friends say they don't even know what the movement is about anymore. Now, when you confuse a lesbian, you've messed up. You went left. You're confusing the lesbians. Stop it. Lesbians used to be real clear. I like women. Period. I'm a woman. I like a woman. Period. But now the trans people told the lesbians, if you don't want to date me, you're being transphobic because I'm a woman now. But you got a penis, and a lesbian is saying, I don't like penises. Wait a minute. This thing is too damn confusing. What is happening? What has happened on the planet? The lesbians don't like penis. That's the whole point of being a lesbian. That is the entire point. I mean, I'm sure there's more to being a lesbian than just not liking penis. That's not what they want. That's not their preference. That's not their jam. Their jam is women. And so they want to be with women, right? And then the trans people, the men who didn't already all the way transition, they still have a penis, yet they're being Monica. They're mad because a lesbian won't date them and call a lesbian transphobic. Dude, what are you doing? Make it make sense. Please, somebody. Make it make sense. The trans people were calling the lesbians transphobic. I said, oh, Lord. Why did y'all go bothering the lesbians? Y'all didn't have no reason. The lesbians were over there minding their own business with their girlfriends, having a good time. Why did the trans people have to go over into lesbian territory? You got to date me because I'm a woman now. And the lesbian is looking at them like, you got junk. I don't date people that have junk. I like something else. No, but I only have this junk but inside I'm a woman. Well, I'm not dating your insides and I'm not having sex with your insides. I'm having sex with this and this is not what I have sex with. Why? Why did this thing turn so crazy? Why? Why are you out here bothering lesbian women? Why? You're provoking all the women. You're provoking the straight women that's married to regular husbands. Like, yeah, I got a husband. Ah, toxic masculinity. What are you talking about? My husband takes care of me. My husband takes me on dates. My husband pays for everything. My husband's a wonderful guy. My husband gave me two beautiful children. This movement hates everybody. They hate lesbians. They hate men. I don't understand it. See, that's why I had to have a spectacular fail because it was not built on truth. Now, let me end with this. You cannot change from X to Y and from Y to X. You're born with either X or Y. It is not for you to say, oh, I'm getting rid of this. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I was born a black woman in this life, which that's what I look like in this life, a black woman. I'm not really a black woman. I'm the infinite source. You're the infinite source. Everyone's the infinite source. Infinite source presents on the planet as different looking beings. So infinite source decided to come onto the planet looking like a black woman named Valerie. Now, what if I said, oh, I don't want to be a black woman in this life. I want to be a Chinese woman. I don't want to be a black woman. Oh, I'm born in the wrong body. I don't want to be black. I want to be yellow. I want to be an Asian person. Okay, so how much do you want to bet that if there were enough black people that said that, pardon me, there would be some kind of demelanating process, something like what Michael Jackson went through. There's some kind of something where we're going to bleach you and take all your melanin away. You could pay for that. Second, we're going to pay for an operation that would make your eyes go like this so that my eyes could more look like an Asian woman. Next, we're going to do some face shaping so that my face could be shaped like an Asian woman. Next, we're going to just chop off a couple of inches because I'm too tall. I'm too big. I'm just in Southeast Asia. My feet are way bigger than a lot of women there. So we need to chop down your feet. How many operations do you think it would take for me to not be a black woman? I want to be an Asian woman. How many operations? And do you think that if enough people asked for that, do you think these Frankenstein doctors would come up with that procedure? Of course they would. And they would keep you on drugs for the rest of your life. And it would be like, oh yes, you're going to look like this Asian woman. And these people are liars and heinous butchers and absolute charlatans if they tell you they can change you from being a man to a woman and a woman to a man. I'm queer and this trans movement confuses me. The queer people is, what are we doing again? The queer people are confused. Come on. What is happening? The straight people are confused. The lesbians are like, get the fuck away from me because you got junk and I don't do that. The queer people are saying, what are we doing again? Why? Why are we doing this? Here's the solution. Here's the solution. I'm going to give you the solution right now from a spiritual perspective, but I know it's going to work. Love yourself. Love is the solution. Love is the solution to everything. Love yourself as you are. And then determine why you chose to be born in that body before you go hacking off all your parts and bits. Understand why. I'm confused too. The straight people are confused. The lesbians are confused. Queer people are confused. And none of my gay friends ever said, yeah, Val, I'm going to chop off all my junk. If any of my gay friends ever said that to me, like Max or Keith or any of them, and my brother, if any gay person, I would be like, no, let's talk about it. Please. I would send them 50 million videos about people who got their junk chopped off and now they're very sad and very upset and can never have sex again. I would be begging them, don't do that. Don't do that. And I would not be doing that because I disregard them, because I don't love them. I would be doing that because I love them. Okay, let's end with this. If doctors say that they can create, I didn't even go into breasts, you know, how you're going to get some breasts, yeah, maybe implants or whatever. Do you understand what breasts do? And that breasts are in communication with the womb, and that breasts change throughout the entire moon cycle of a woman, and that breasts are connected with sexuality. It's all integrated. Nature made it like that. The infinite source made it like that. It's all integrated according to a source code. And doctors, and let me tell you how absolutely exceptional a breast is. Okay? By the way, everyone loves women, I feel, other than trans people. And here's why I say that. Straight men love women and gay men love women too, because they be giving us the makeup and the hair. And oh, baby, I follow this gay guy on YouTube. He's this gay Indian guy. Has anybody seen this gay Indian guy? He is absolutely beautiful. And this man does makeup. He will beat your face. Mario, them gay guys will beat your face to the gods. Gay men love women, just for different reasons in different ways. Let me tell you something. When I go to the gay club, we were just at the gay club. We had so much fun at the gay club. They are playing all the right music, and we dancing, and the gay guys will be bumping with you and everything. They don't want me. You are perfectly safe and will have a ball in a gay club. You will, the dude is dancing on the table. He had the prettiest booty I ever seen. He don't want me. Now he will beat my face and he would be like, girl, that don't go together. And I will believe him. I'll be like, no, it doesn't. Okay. I'm not saying that's the totality of gay men, because it certainly isn't, because I really I hold in my heart my friend. Y'all know how much I love Max Tucci. We be at his birthday party and all that. So don't come for none of my friends, whether they gay or straight or trans or lesbian or don't come for none of my friends, right? I'm just telling you that I never heard any of my gay friends say that they were going to chop off all their junk. Now let's go back to this thing about breasts. Do you understand that when a baby is nursing, I nursed all three of my babies from actual breasts that actually grow and develop on actual women. And when you nurse a baby, did you know this? Tell me if you knew this. Did you know that when a baby latches on to its mother's breast, the nipple, listen to this thing will blow your mind. The nipple takes in the saliva of the baby, does a chemical composition of the nutritional requirements of that baby, and signals to the brain of the mother to put more vitamin D in the milk. And the next milk that is flowing from that mother now has more vitamin D in it for that baby. And the nipple pick that up from the saliva of the baby when the baby latched on. Do you know that we don't have the faintest idea of the massive, intricate, detailed, energetic, multitudinous things that are going on inside of our body, women and men, that we're going to go and we're just going to chop off breasts, perfectly good breasts. Whereas there are women who have had cancer surgeries and they mourned over their breasts. But over here, we're just telling young girls, just chop them off. That is a crime. That's a crime. So, it's so magical. Men and women are so magical. And where is the honor? And where is the respect? And where is the humility in the face of the greatness of what we are, men and women. And you can love anyone you want to love. Go for it. You can call yourself anything you want to call yourself. Go for it. You can show up and be 6'2" and have a size 13 shoe and an Adam's apple, 5 o'clock shadow, and an overhanging brow, and call me Monica. And everyone in the room will call you Monica. If you think that inside people are agreeing with what that person is doing, you got another story. And you cannot regulate what people think in their own minds. I know this person is not a woman, and you cannot convince me. I don't care what you say. You cannot convince me that this is a woman. It would never happen. You cannot become a woman if you're a man, and you cannot become a man if you're a woman. And let me say it more in such a way, because they keep saying gender. Oh, gender is signed at birth. It wasn't nothing assigned at birth, baby. You was born with either an X or a Y. That's how you came in. And by the way, that is how the whole human race is going to continue. We need X and Y. And then they come up and tell you, oh, but it's natural to be bigendered. Okay, you can be whatever you think you want to be. Because in nature, there are things that have both genders. And there are things that can change from one gender to the other. Okay, but you're not a seahorse. That's very true. There are things in nature that can change from male to female and female to male. That's true. That's not how the human race operates, unless we're about to evolve into something else. And maybe we have babies coming out of our heads no matter what you're born with down there. All good. Right now, you need X and Y to produce a human. And when that human comes out, that human is either X or Y. There's nothing ambiguous about that. It's nothing ambiguous about that. But these people want to twist words and try to convince us of things that are not true. And what I'm saying is, most of us just didn't believe it. We were polite and we were kind and we didn't want to hurt your feelings. Well, in our heart of hearts, we didn't believe it. We don't believe these people. We don't believe these girls that are trying to be men are men. And because, baby, don't tell me you're a man. Because when I really want a man for something, you're not going to be it. You're not. And all these dudes that are coming into the ladies' bathrooms and all that, still with junk intact. No, that's not it. I hope this message has been kind and loving. I hope this message is not being perceived as hate speech, that you can't go from X to Y. And I hold accountable the people who were the crafters of this movement. And if you look back into the history of this and you look at Dr. Money, who was probably one of the first people to try to convince somebody that, read the story of Dr. John Money. It is so horrific. It will have you cringing. This man, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what this man did. This man was a psychiatrist. I think he was at Johns Hopkins. And he was working with a pair of twins. It was a boy and a girl. And the boy had a botched circumcision. And because it was a botched circumcision, his penis was not going to work out for him. So do you know what John Money told the parents to do? Treat him like a girl. Raise him like a girl. Convince him he's a girl. And the parents like, that's crazy. He's not a girl. What's going to happen? We can't convince our son. He's girl. No. It's going to be perfectly fine. I mean, this man is a supposedly big wig at Johns Hopkins, and I'm sure he didn't say it like this. He tried to convince these people that it was going to be perfectly okay for them to raise their son as a girl. What happened? They would bring the children to him, the twins, and he would put them in therapy without the parents around. He would make them do sexual acts with each other. This is a horror story. And then in the end, the son committed suicide when he got older. And he didn't commit suicide because he wanted to be a girl and no one thought that he was a girl. He committed suicide because he was in such abject pain and torture that his parents were trying to convince him he was a girl when he wasn't. And he knew something was going on, because nature is going to tell you what's really going on with yourself and your body. Horrible. Look at people like John Money. Look at the people who are the crafters of this trans movement. Look at the people who are behind chopping off perfectly good parts of young people who cannot give informed consent. Look at the people behind giving these children drugs that will affect them for the rest of their lives. Look at the detransitioning stories of scores and scores and scores of detransitioners. Look at all the detransitioners that are now suing doctors, psychologists who just rush them through gender affirming care, just get them through. And all these people just so they can have all of these trans people. It's a shit show. It's a shit show. And I do not hold this against any trans person. I call the crafters of this movement, the puppeteers, they're the ones. They're the ones. They're no friends of humanity. They are not. They are monsters. And they are Frankensteining people. That's all I have to say about that. I hope everyone out there is in love with yourself. I hope you're in love with yourself. I hope you love yourself, whether you were born with a penis or born with a vagina. I hope you work that thing. I hope you love yourself. I'm going to leave you with this story from The Matrix. Do you remember this scene in The Matrix? Neo went to see the Oracle. And he was sitting there talking to the Oracle, and the Oracle said, candy. She took out a piece of candy. And he went to reach for it, and he said, wait a minute. You already know what I'm going to say. She said, wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't. He said, well, where's my choice in that? You already know what I'm going to choose. And this is what she said. She said, you already chose before you got here. Now you're here to understand why you chose it. You're here to walk out your choice. You're here to get understanding. You're not here to choose. You already chose it. As a spiritual girl, I already know you already chose your life into this life. If you were a man in 50 million lifetimes and you say, you know what, I want to be a woman in this lifetime, you land in this woman body and you're like, oh my God, I think I'm supposed to be a man. That could be ancestral memory or past life memory. It could be. Yet in this life, you chose man or woman, and you chose which energy you would anchor in that man or woman avatar. Because there are many women who are born and they're born in a feminine body and they're anchoring masculine energy. Yep, you chose that. And there are many men who are born in a man body, masculine, feminine energy. You chose that. Everybody has masculine and feminine energy. Everyone has yin and yang. There is one that's more dominant, more prevalent. Then you chose, if you are a female and you were born in a female avatar body and you were anchoring the feminine energy, which is what I chose to do in this lifetime. I chose to be a goddess in this lifetime, baby. And you chose, if you are a man in this lifetime and you are anchoring masculine energy, you chose to be an alpha male, baby. All of it is beautiful. All of it is beautiful. All of it is acceptable. All of it is fine. As long as you are not calling me sis, call me who I am. As long as you are not going for children, and as long as you are not invading women's spaces, go have at it. Go make your life lovely. Go make your life lovely. That's it, and that's all. I will put in the link in the comments a link to my Substack. And please comment under here and tell me your thoughts. And comment also on my Substack and tell me where you stand with it. What's happening with you? I want to hear from you. I love you. Peace. ValerieLove.com. KAISI out.